Hi everyone, I'm Felipe.
Bonjour, je suis Lillian.
And we are the Postmodern family.
Nous sommes Américains, living in the UK, and we are reacting to Great Britain.
We make 5 new reactions a week, so hit that subscribe button now.
Today we're going to react to a clip from Top Gear. This is James May talking to us about road signs. Did you guys like that I threw you guys off with my amazing accents, impressions, languages? It's amazing, right?
So what are we watching here?
We are watching a clip that someone recommended for us, and it made our suggestions list.
It's 8 minutes long. Wow, okay.
What I think is interesting that our viewers might find interesting is that it talks about the origins of the UK road signs, British road signs.
Okay.
And we've done several road sign videos before. Years ago. Do check them out.
But at the moment I'm in normal mode, which is the one I like, but if I press this button, Sport, now the suspension is firmed up a little bit. Can I feel that? Yes.
But lots of cars have a Sport button. The Insignia, however, has another one that goes up to 11.
This one, which is marked VXR. You press that and the suspension gets even harder. The throttle response is sharpened up a bit. But most importantly, the instruments become red. I mean, that's just fantastic. Now it's a fire-breathing monster with a spine of iron.
Does it mean it hugs the road better?
And the price for all this VXR-ishness?
Just over £30,000, which in Top Gear maths, where we tend to sort of round things up a bit, makes it actually pretty good value. Because the equivalent Audi S4 would be nearly £5,000 more.
And that's all you really need to know about it. But obviously, I have to keep going. So I will, by explaining that the Insignia VXR is surprisingly restrained, both to look at and to sit in. It is therefore the first D-chav VXR, the first fast Vauxhall that we know which way round a baseball cap goes.
This is actually a very civilized car. It's very quiet. The ride is very good. And yet without a VXR button on, it still goes like stink.
It's also very spacious, and it has a big boot and much more equipment than a pricier Audi. And now, I really have run out of things to say. But rather than go back to the studio, I'm going to introduce you to someone I've always wanted to meet. A lady called Margaret Calvert.
And here she is. Hello, Margaret.
Hello, James.
Now, you may never have heard of Margaret, but believe me, if you are a motorist in Britain, she's one of the most important people in your life. And if it hadn't been for Margaret and her mates, I would now be going the wrong way or possibly even having a terrible crash.
You see, Margaret, along with her colleague Jock Kinnear, is responsible for creating something special that we take for granted every single day. The road signs of Britain.
I think you've perhaps made me more important than I really am.
Oh, I doubt it.
Margaret's work began in the 1950s, when car ownership was booming and the government, alarmed at the clogged-up roads, decided to build the first
13.
However, existing road signs were totally inadequate for the new high-speed highways.
No one had designed motorway signs before because we hadn't had a motorway before.
Right.
She's got to be at least 80 then.
System of signs clear
Well, when did they
to
make
the
this?
car, which was still a new thing for most people,
Yes.
and at speeds that were still new.
Yes.
That all fell to a man and his former student from an art college. They gave you the whole job.
Absolutely. We were both on a crash course learning curve to come to grips with designing road signs. It wasn't a fashion thing. We were designing for permanence. We were designing for something that wouldn't look dated in 5 or 10 years' time.
Margaret explained how the colour system of our road signs was carefully designed to make words and numbers as clear as possible at the high speeds motorway-borne cars could then achieve. And she and Jock horrified the signposting establishment by using upper and lower case letters instead of the accepted block capitals.
And that's to do with word recognition. You read a shape, whereas if it's all in capitals, it takes you longer to read.
So you don't actually have to read it in upper and lower. You see the shape and you know what it
Exactly
says.
that. So your brain fills in, the middle bits.
Most people wouldn't realise how involved this is. They'd think
No,
it's just
well,
lettering
no,
that you stick on a sign.
absolutely, yes.
And it still works. It's still basically the same system.
Margaret's work didn't stop at motorway signs, because she and Jock then went on to design just about every other road sign you see in the highway code. So you've designed a new typeface,
Yes.
which became known as transport.
It's a sans serif.
And then you had to design the actual pictures for your warning signs.
Yes.
That's you, isn't it?
That was actually a very difficult one to do. The important thing was to make it look like an action, that it would really alert you to the possibility of two children walking across the road. So hopefully you're trying to save lives by getting that right. The previous sign had a grammar school boy with a satchel and the girl behind him, and they weren't holding hands or anything like that. And I just thought that this is a little bit more caring. And so I switched it round. I based that actually on me. I based it on what I wore as a child.
So is that actually you?
It is actually, yes.
At this point, I was starting to run out of intelligent questions. What do you make of the car? Because I can't quite make my mind up.
They always have faces, don't they?
Yes.
And I think some can look very shark-like, some can look very aggressive. It looks like a car that's been designed by a committee.
And then I ran out of intelligent things to say. It would agree with me that it would look a bit sexier in glasses.
That's very interesting. I think you're quite unusual.
Back on the road, we inevitably came across one of her most commonly used signs.
The story I read about you was that you did that sign, and then the joke emerged it was a man struggling with an umbrella, and that joke's been around for years, and that annoyed you, and you wished you'd done it slightly different.
Well, I would have put a shoulder on it just, and I... Huh? What, you want me to draw it on?
Yes.
Yeah, no.
Come on,
I'm not
I'll
going
do
to.
it. But I want you to
I'm
direct me.
Okay.
To put a shoulder on?
Right, think of drawing a spade. As if you're drawing a spade, yeah?
What do you think?
Well, I think from here, it's wrong.
Not only did she
That
not
is
like
better.
my drawing,
That is better.
she didn't find my gear changes very good either.
That was a bit of a... That was a bit...
sorry, that wasn't very good,
Yeah,
was it?
no, that wasn't a good... Yeah,
Let's try that again.
yeah, do that.
I was trying to be clever, you
I
see.
like it. Oh, right.
Skipping a cog, so we'll double it down in a
right.
second.
Yeah, even then it was a little bit juddery. Now it's done. Yeah, a bit.
Is that better?
Yeah, a bit better. Could be a bit smoother.
Sorry.
I decided to speed up, and that didn't work either.
Oh my gosh.
Margaret didn't like this sort of driving. And as we headed for home, plainly, she decided to get her own back.
It's nice to think that your legacy is spread all over the country.
Well, it is a legacy, I suppose, and that's why I end up sitting next to people like you, talking about road signs.
Did you put my seat heater on for a joke?
No, I didn't.
I thought they were going to explain every major road sign. But it is interesting that she designed a typeface.
Yeah.
I've always wondered why the shift to sans serif, because personally, for reading a book at least, I prefer serif fonts. I think they're more elegant.
Yeah. But
sans serif is very commercial.
I think it's clearer, less fluff out of the way, and it makes, like she said, shapes more unique. Because if you keep adding serif to everything, then you're actually making certain letters more similar, right?
Well, I think what was being said is the use of upper and lowercase. like I saw Sheffield, and you saw the big S, and then the F's in the middle, and then the D, LD at the end, and your brain sees those three peaks, and the S, and it automatically fills in.
Exactly.
So that could have been serifed, and still the pattern is there. That pattern of three peaks.
True.
So I think that's the main thing about that.
Okay.
But I do agree that the what would you call
serif?
The serifs do perhaps detract. But yeah, I think even on buildings where you see older buildings where you have the portico, the columns and the portico, and then there's a big inscription, and it's in serif.
It's in serif,
and I think that's classy. That's good.
True.
That's permanent. When I see sans serif, I see temporary.
Oh, I see. So you don't think it's permanent?
I don't think so.
It doesn't look like permanent.
But I was surprised that I saw clips of the signs from, I guess, 30, 40 years ago, and they did look the same. So it has both. It has lasted, but it gives me a sense of impermanence.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was more interested in those shapes, the characters, the little figures that they used for different signs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big task to be given to. It sounds like two people, her and some other guy, John.
Yeah, it's always on a shoestring budget or whatever, minimal people.
I mean, that's a big task to take.
Well, I wonder how many signs and how many different patterns it was. Maybe it was like 30 or 40 or something.
But like she said, they're designing for permanence, and it's going to be all over the UK. So
yeah, what I have a bone to pick with is the merge sign, where it shows there's two distinct lines that are widely set apart, and then one line gets closer.
It looks like a bottleneck.
It looks like a bottleneck. It looks like the space between lanes is narrowing.
Yes.
But not that two lanes are coming into one.
Right.
That's my bone to pick.
Yeah. It doesn't look like two lanes into one. It just looks like, oh, my lane is going to get narrower. I see.
Which under when there's roadworks on, they do get narrower.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know. I don't agree with that one. Take that out.
How would this compare to American road signs?
Road signs in the U.S. are not standardized.
Oh.
They're state specific, except for the U.S. highway system, federal highway system.
And what's that? Just green, right?
No.
What does that look like?
Oh, yeah. Green.
Just green backing with white.
That's right.
Letters and
yeah,
border.
That's right.
Do they do capital and lowercase, or is it?
I think they do both.
Okay.
I think they do both. But if you saw, even in the British ones, North was all caps. That one throws me off too. It takes me a second to process North when I'm driving. That's true.
Because South, it's like the same shape,
same length.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. They should consider changing
Yeah.
it.
But in the U.S., even whether they use mile exits or just random numbered exits, I hate that.
Yeah.
And then
so all in short to say, I think British road signs are easier to read. I think it's easier, more clear to read signs.
The signs, yes.
Yeah. It's harder to drive here.
The signs, yes, but then the fact that lanes become exit lanes all of a sudden and things like that doesn't happen in the U.S. really.
Yeah, you
don't have to suddenly deviate.
Yes, that's correct. So if you just want to drive in the slow lane, we call it.
Yeah.
You can just stay there until
you'll know. Yeah, you have confidence that if you stay in that lane, you'll go straight forever.
Yeah.
Not all of a sudden, oh, I'm exiting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Whereas here, sometimes it just like peels off, and it catches you off guard. Yeah. The other thing is the exit numbers here are very small compared to exit numbers.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah. So you can't rely on the exit number. You have to know like the name of the town you're going towards.
Yeah. And sometimes it seems like the exit numbers repeat one after the other. Yeah. Going towards Portsmouth, especially,
Yeah.
East 12. on M27. Yes. There's 12 and then there's another 12. Yeah.
And they take you to two different places. Yeah. So I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Thanks so much for watching this episode. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll catch you later. See you. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Bye.